Hey macro students, welcome to our video lecture for Module 50, different categories of unemployment. So in Module 49, we focused on mostly the idea of what does that unemployment rate mean? If we say that right now we have a 7.3 or 7.9% unemployment rate, what does that mean? And we learned that 7.9% is not very good. We learned that 4% is awesome, 10% bad, 7.9%, nope, too far away from that 4%, which is the good unemployment rate. And then we learned that, that doesn't mean that 7.9% of all the people don't have jobs. It means that 7.9% of the labor force doesn't have jobs. Well, in this module, we're going to figure out, like, why does 4%, why is that considered good unemployment or a good unemployment rate? Why isn't it 0%? Wouldn't 0% be the best, right? Like, don't we want to be able to say that 0% of people in the labor force don't have jobs? That all of the people who want jobs can get jobs? Well, of course, we would want to say that, but we're never going to get there because, like it says here, not all unemployment is caused by a bad economy. Not all unemployment is caused by that lowering of output, that lowering of real GDP. Some of it is just natural. And because some types of unemployment are natural, then we're never going to get to 0%. And so economists debate about like what that natural unemployment rate is. Most of them say it's around 4%. And we know from recently that the unemployment rate can go below 4%. So maybe it's below 4%, but it's somewhere around there. And we're just going to use that one as, pretty close to 4%. All right. So here again is like a little diagram to show you how they break up these different categories of unemployment. So this top box here, it says unemployed. So that's saying if they take all of the unemployed people, they can divide them into two categories: naturally unemployed and cyclical unemployment. And then they can take the natural unemployment and divide that out into two parts, which are frictional and structural. So we're going to spend our time talking about what these different terms mean. So natural unemployment, I labeled it as like okay unemployment. Like, I'm not going to say it's okay to be that person, right? Like if you are unemployed for any reason, it doesn't feel good and it doesn't feel like you and your family are okay. However, it's okay in the sense that it's not a sign of a bad economy. And we'll talk more about that, about like what that actually means. Or wait, no, it's not in our list. So let's talk about, oh wait, we'll talk more about that soon. Okay, cyclical unemployment, that's like the bad unemployment. That's caused by a recession, meaning that output is down, real GDP is down, and we try to eliminate it. And we meaning like as a society, we don't like it. The government does some things to try to eliminate cyclical unemployment, and there's not as much as they can do about eliminating natural unemployment. So total unemployment minus natural unemployment equals cyclical unemployment. And so that cyclical unemployment, like I just said, is the bad unemployment. And here is how I remember it. Another word for bad is crappy. Crappy starts with a C. Cyclical starts with a C. So that is literally how I remember it. The bad type of unemployment is cyclical. C for cyclical, C for crappy. I don't know if that will help you or not, but it really helps me with just remembering it. Just a little trick. So if we add together the natural unemployment plus the cyclical unemployment, then we get our total unemployment. Oh, two things we can add in here. Natural unemployment, it's around 4%. And economists will argue about whether that 4% is the right number. But here in Introduction to Macroeconomics, we don't need to argue about that. We'll just be like, okay, it's 4%. And then cyclical unemployment caused by a recession. You can also say that it's, caused by the business cycle, because a recession is a part of the business cycle. And so you see that word cycle. See over here, cyclical. That's where it comes from. So unemployment that's caused by the business cycle going down, right? Being in that lower part of that wave, that's the bad stuff. That's the crappy stuff. All right, on page 2. All right, so here it says 2 types of natural unemployment. So page 2 is all about that natural unemployment. It's all about that 4% unemployment rate. So like we said over here, they divide natural unemployment up into frictional unemployment and structural unemployment. So now we're going to define and talk about what frictional and structural unemployment means. All right, so frictional unemployment, that is people who are looking for work, and just that job, or that the work of looking for a job, your book calls it job search. The work of doing a job search, it can take a long time. It doesn't just happen overnight. And so if you are new to the labor force, okay, imagine after high school, you're going to go to college, and then after college, you're going to be looking for a job. So you get out of college, you start looking for a job. The minute you hand in your first application or resume, congratulations, you're unemployed. Okay, you see that? So if you take someone, pretend that college student did not have a job in college, they just focused on school, and then they get out of college. So when they were in college, not in the labor force, not a part of our unemployment rate, they get out of college, they start looking for a job, boom, they are in the labor force and they are unemployed until they find a job. So that person we're describing, who is new to the labor force, just started to look for a job, they are not unemployed because the economy is bad. They are unemployed because that's where they are in life. They're new to the labor force. Now, maybe if like in 6 months they're still looking for a job, that could be because of the economy. That could be that cyclical unemployment. But at least for a while, it's natural. There's no way to avoid it. That's just what life is like. So new to the labor force, you could say in here that they were not in the labor force, and then they started looking for a job, so then they became unemployed, and then hopefully they became employed. Okay, and while they were unemployed, that meant that they were looking for a job. Somebody just let my dogs in the house and they're walking around, so if you can hear their little toes clacking on the wood floor, yeah, that's what that is. Those are my doggies. All right. Now, somebody who lost a job, let's say that they were laid off, maybe they were fired, they're looking for a new job, and sometimes people get laid off because the economy is bad and the companies aren't producing as much stuff. But sometimes people get laid off because the economy has changed. Because, maybe they worked for the typewriter repair person, or maybe they were a typewriter repair person. And then all of a sudden people stopped using typewriters because they started using computers, right? Like that typewriter repair person became unemployed. They lost their job. They're out there looking for a new job. They are very sad. It is very hard to be that person. But when we look at that type of unemployment, the government doesn't necessarily need to step in and be like, whoa, we need to help this person out, because or they don't necessarily need to think like, oh my gosh, look at all these unemployed typewriter repair people. Our economy must really suck. It's just that the economy has changed. And so, although it is bad for that person, it's not a sign of a bad economy. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. And then, of course, if somebody quit their job and they are looking for a new job, they will be frictionally unemployed. Side note, It is really good advice to never quit a job until you have your new job, but people do it all the time. And so I guess for frictional unemployment, you can think of it as like something in that person's life has changed, and for whatever reason, they're looking for a job now, but it's not because the economy is bad, it's for a different reason. Now, structural unemployment. Your book goes into a lot of detail about structural unemployment. I'm not going to kill you with those details. That I'm not going to expect you to know all those details. So here's kind of what you do need to know. It's caused by there being more people looking for a certain type of job, and they're not like those jobs not being available. Your books, describe to you how like wages being too high can cause that because that idea if wages are high, which is awesome for workers, companies don't necessarily like that because then they have to pay their workers more, and then they just might not hire as many workers, so that it might actually cause the number of jobs available to decrease. And that is a big argument that economists like to have. Like, is that idea true or not? And they're still trying to figure that out, but it is an idea that's out there. Number two, unemployment benefits from the government. So if you do collect like those unemployment insurance checks, um, if somebody's getting those, then it might be what's called a disincentive or a reason not to look for a job as quickly because you're getting that money. If you got laid off, you go on unemployment, you're getting some money in from the government. You might not need to look for a new job as quickly as if like there was no money coming in from the government. So it might cause that kind of structural unemployment to last even longer. Now, that statement is not without argument as well, but that is one of the ideas that is out there. So let's add that in here. So it causes people to not find a new job quickly, or to not seek a new job quickly. Seek meaning look for. And then number three, it says mismatches between employers and employees. So that means like maybe in that location, there's a lot of people who are good at like manufacturing, but there aren't a lot of manufacturing jobs. There's a lot of banking jobs, right? So that would be like that mismatch between employers and employees. Like where I'm from and where my parents still live, everything is really based off of mining. Well, maybe if the mines shut down, there would be tons of unemployed people because, like, they all, what they're skilled at doing is working in the mines. And so then what would they do then? Like, what would their job be? Well, the jobs that they're qualified for would be in another location. The jobs that are still there aren't there, so they are unemployed. And the answer, or like the remedy to that, is either to get a new location for people to move, or for people to get more skills and more training, to get retrained on something else. And politicians talk about this stuff all the time. They talk a lot about like coal miners who are out of work because we don't use as much coal as we used to. We try to find like cleaner fuels to burn instead of coal. And then, some people say like, hey, we got to get those coal miners back to work in the coal mines. And some people say, no, we need to get those coal miners retrained to do something different because the economy has just kind of changed. Kind of that idea of going back to like the typewriter repair person. So this can be caused by, people being in the wrong location, or like the factory moving, something like that. Or this can be caused by people needing different skills and different training. Another interesting side note is that because so many people are doing things online now compared to the way we used to do things, the idea of location is becoming less important because people who can work using their computer, They don't need to necessarily live where the company is, where their job is, and they can work over their computer. So that's really changing the type of unemployment that could be caused by, location, being in the wrong location. Okay, so there was module 50. Do not forget to do your summary. Do not forget to read the book and take notes on it. Oh, speaking of the book, I have good news for you. When you read the book, pages 517 through 519 are about changes in natural unemployment. And it talks about, like the natural rates of unemployment and what that is. That you need to know. But the causes of changing the natural rate of unemployment, we're not going to deal with that. Okay, so any practice problems that are about changing the natural rate of unemployment, you don't need to do those, and you don't need to read or take notes on those pages. All right, just the top of page 517, but not the rest. All right, everybody, make sure you let me know if you have any questions. Bye.